morning. It's Friday, and it depends on how you spent the last 2 days. It's either has been restful or extremely hectic for you. For me, it was quite restful. Spend the time with family and loved ones, and had some good R&R, rest and reflection. And so I'm happy that we're back here for another episode of Autocorrect this Friday morning. And I think today is a very good day to correct some misconceptions in this space. I've seen the conversations around this space about whether or not Tobago has the potential to explore and exploit oil and gas or hydrocarbons for energy. And it will appear as though some will want you to believe that our abilities therein or our inabilities really and truly determines whether or not we should get this autonomy. Now, the reason for wanting autonomy over our marine space has to go beyond oil and gas. It absolutely must go beyond oil and gas. It has to be about the full potential of our blue economy and how we can monetize that. That's more than just oil and gas. Having said that, I want to hasten to add another element to the conversation, which is that currently it is believed that Tobago and Tobagonians don't contribute a whole lot to the national coffers. So every year around budget in October, when Tobago, regardless of whether it's this administration or another, and Tobago is making noise for a greater piece of the pie, some people believe that, well, Tobago not really contributing sufficiently to the national coffers, so why should Tobago get more? One of the reasons why we have to properly define the space, including all of our marine boundaries, is so that Tobago can say to the national government, whoever they are now and will be in the future, that we are worthwhile contributors to the national economy. And therefore, we are not beggars. We are demanding a fair share because we are contributing significantly to the national coffers. And I believe by taking out oil and gas from the conversation, it is meant that we will always look like beggars in the equation and not as equal partners. And we don't want to continue this culture of being mendicants. We want to stand up and stand out as equal partners, as equal contributors to the national purse. That's why we need proper definition of our boundaries. And that's why oil and gas must be in the conversation. And then I want to address the concern about whether or not Tobago can monetize oil and gas. Now, let's be honest, it takes years for you to move oil and gas from extraction or production to the point of refining it and moving it to a refined product to be sold for a higher price or a higher value. But I don't believe Tobagonians have ever objected necessarily to us extracting hydrocarbons from our waters and sending it to the oil and gas belt in Trinidad to complete the production line. As a matter of fact, that happens right now as we speak. The lines move from Tobago all the way to Trinidad to do just that. And so the question is not so much about whether or not we are prepared to foot the cost and the time for oil and gas production on our own. But it is really a conversation about Tobago being equal partners, Tobago actually contributing significantly to the national purse, and therefore Tobago being respected in the budgeting exercise that happens nationally. And I'll end by saying this to you. In 2021, Prime Minister Rowley went publicly and said that Tobago only collects about $250 million in taxes. Now, by law, all business, all activities on island in Tobago, the taxes ought to be paid in Tobago. Imagine for a moment the oil companies that extract oil and gas from Tobago waters paying the taxes for those oil and gas that are extracted from the Tobago waters, paying it in Tobago. Imagine what the revenues will be for the people of Tobago. That's something for you to think about for a while. And so until we meet again next week, I believe next week will be the 30th of December, I want you to keep drinking your sorrel, drinking your ginger beer, and minding Tobago business. Continue to enjoy the season, have a safe one, and we are all looking forward to a bright and prosperous 2025. God bless.